Greetings, everyone, all our wild and weirdos and weirdettes out there in wild and weird land. Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio Live, and I am Ron. That is Joe over there. That is Brandon, and that is a special guest over on the end. We don't know who that is, but he's going to be talking here in a little bit, so you guys will be able to hear some stuff from him. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things to talk about tonight. It is our Spooktacular episode, of course, because these things just keep coming and keep coming. We literally just recorded a version for tomorrow night's episode, which you won't want to miss, by the way. It's good stuff. I think we broke the record with the longest news segment ever on that episode. Congratulations. Congratulations, everyone. Yes. Joe, why don't you run down the welcome wagon here?
Yeah, I already got her rolling, buddy. We got Shane Lorison in the house. We got the Deucer hanging out with us. Theresa, of course, is already in the house here with us as well. Then we've also got Jimbo over at Spooky Appalachia hanging out. Larry Hose. Ada Cox made it on time. Good job, Ada. Hey. And that's everybody. Oh, Fishbelly snuck by me. Fishbelly's always here. What's going on, Fishbelly?
All right, you guys, you 14, 15, 16 is still growing. Guys,
Julie Bug, here's a new one. Hello, everyone. New here. Good to have you.
Hello, welcome. Welcome aboard. This is a very fun show. If you haven't been to this one, this is the one where we kind of just let our hair down, have a lot of fun with the audience. We take about 2 hours out of our week to do these, and they're just a lot of fun for everybody.
Larry's over here getting it on the work schedule, man. I hear you. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, wait. Oops. Special guest, Adam Good.
Oh yeah.
They fixed it.
There you go.
Angie's with us tonight too.
Hello, Angie.
Hope everybody's having a good night out there.
Hey, you guys, Facebook users, you can comment, but we can't tell who you are unless you give Facebook permission to share your name with StreamYard. So go ahead and do that, and we can welcome you in. If not, we're just going to call you Facebook user, if that's cool. Whew, I
don't think I have a choice.
I don't think it is either.
I click on it, and I just read it off. Oh, Scott Holbrook. I was talking to Scott earlier.
There's Scott.
Good to have you with us, man. He's been working long hours up at Moundsville.
That's terrible.
Oh, gosh.
Well, our executive producer is with us tonight, but here's the other ones. Adam, Theresa, Dewey, James Boggs, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitars and Chains, Craig, Travis Aurednik, Geoffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, and Scott Holbrook. Those are the people you guys need to thank right now for this incredible episode, because they made it happen.
Absolutely.
And that's what we do. Speaking of which, guys, I'm going to show you something later on in the show for you guys who are donating to the cause, so to speak. Anyone who donates over, I think, $10 is going to get something kind of cool, and we're trying to make it to where, it's not something elaborate, but it's just a way to say thank you. It's better than a sticker, what you get on some of these things. So I'm making you something really cool, and I'll show it to you here in a little bit. We have some prototypes that I made up for us, and you'll get to see those. It is time for us to introduce our very, very special guest. Everyone, please take the time to share this out right now. Go up there, copy and paste that link, and share it out to your page so your friends can see it.
Yep, put it up on your Facebook page. Put it out there on
every bit
Instagram,
everywhere.
You can post it.
Yep, put it wherever you can.
The bathroom, wherever you can post it.
No, don't post it in the.
Hey, I'll take it. If you can hijack some bar's TV in the bathroom, do it.
Okay, well, have fun. Whatever, just share it out, and let's get the house full, because Adam's going to be telling some really cool stories. And Adam, for those who don't know, has a special link to a book that's actually here. Hello, Julie. Welcome from North Carolina. From Mingo County originally. So you're going to
work in Mingo County all the time.
Tonight's story is going to be really cool. Adam, hold that book up again. You see that? I got volume 2 here. And what's really funny about this, I was just thumbing through this today. I didn't even remember when I got this book. I just pulled it off my shelf. It's actually actually autographed.
Oh,
You believe that?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually autographed by Dennis in November 17th, 2000.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's great.
November 17th.
I'm in that one too.
Adam, we can't hear you.
Are you?
Yeah.
Can you hear Adam?
Oh yeah, I can hear Adam.
I can hear Adam.
Ashley Hilt's in the house. What's going on, Ashley?
There's Ashley. Hey there, Ashley.
But
So-
Ron, if you give me the book, I'll autograph it for you.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm definitely going to get you to put yours in there. Well, Adam, can you tell everyone what your significance is to this book? The people who are gathered about.
Well, this book was written by Dennis Dietz. And, I went up to the author and I threatened to yell at him if the ghost book wasn't done soon. I am his grandson, and in a way that gives me some right to yell at him, but no, but he, it was just, I was excited as a little 9-year-old and I wanted the book out, and, you do like the little 9-year-old thing where you're just like, get the book out, I'm going to yell. And so my
Right.
grandfather has forever shamed me.
That's
He's
great.
forever razzed me with this dedication.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's like a family curse, man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
I'll wear that heirloom.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for you guys who don't know, the Spooktaculars are a thing that we've been doing for 4 seasons now. And this is the first time we've ever had to do this many of them, because now we have a live to do on top of the regular recorded podcast version of the show. So we had to, we've got some really cool stuff planned for you guys during this spooky season, which is just something we like to do every year. And this time, by the way, last week's episode was phenomenal. Just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for sharing your stories, your accounts. You're going to be able to do that again on this episode too. So if you got stories and accounts, please do so. I have fielded so many reports, by the way, of people seeing strange lights in the skies and other things since that episode. Keep them sending them. We'll definitely add those to the, to the data sets and whatnot as well. But we're here for spooky stories, right, Adam?
Yes, very much so.
So you have a book full of spooky stories, and I think if anyone is authorized to read that book, it's probably going to be you at this point.
So we're going to read the whole thing tonight, right?
Sure, the whole
Cover to
book,
cover.
cover to cover. So everybody, you pull up your book. No, time to
Let's
read.
start
to
off on
page-
page 2.
Let me get you a
We're
little.
going to skip the introduction, okay?
Get you a little
Yeah.
music here. All right. Y'all, okay. Y'all can hear that, right? Make sure everybody can hear out there in Wild and Weird Radio Land.
Theresa says that she met Adam's grandpa several years before she actually met you, Adam.
That is correct. I'm sure most people met my grandfather before they ever met me. So, just like Ron.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pat made it on time.
Pat, welcome, bud. Good to see you.
Teresa said she also has volumes 2 and 3.
If we
If we
run
run
out of material.
Hey, we can go all night. Well, not literally. I'll fall asleep. I haven't slept
fall
in 3
asleep.
days.
Yeah, we'll do like, Man on the Moon. Andy Kaufman.
There we go.
Read the whole thing.
And just
tonight.
read it.
Yeah.
Read it. Yep.
Should I do it in a British voice?
That would be preferred.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. You've got to do that, right? I mean, that's just.
And then I'll follow it with Rocket Man.
And folks, while he's reading, feel free to comment. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little star beside you as he's reading, because we won't interrupt him while he's reading. But then we'll get to you right after the story before the next one begins. And hello and welcome from Eastern Kentucky, Roger Blair.
Pat said he missed. Who is it that's Adam's grandfather? Adam's grandfather is the author of this 1, 2, and 3 volumes of The Greenbrier Ghost, and he's going to be reading from that book today.
Dennis Dietz, Pat.
Yep.
And at some point, don't be alarmed if I decide to play theremin on the automaton.
I would prefer it if you'd play theremin.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my jaw heart.
Well, I have a theremin request, so if anyone else wants to hear theremin, just pop that up there too. We'll make that happen.
Ashley said to do a different voice for each paragraph. I concur.
Ooh, that's a challenge. He just gave you a challenge, dude.
You want me to start off with Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think as apt as it should be, I think we should read. It's going to be a few pages, but the true story of Greenbrier Ghost by my grandfather.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's become a tradition at this point that we do that story.
Yeah,
sorry about that. We do that story on every one of these during spooky season. It's kind of a thing at this point, I think.
Okay. The True Story of the Greenbrier Ghost by Dennis Dietz. We're starting off with Marlon Brando. So, I grew up about 15 miles from Raynell.
Oh God, he's actually
the site of possibly the most noted ghost story in the United States. The story concerned the murder of Zona Hester Sue in Greenbrier County and the conviction of her husband, Edward Show, of her murder due to the evidence presented by the mother who had visits from the grave by her daughter. In 1886, G.S. McKeever was a student at Leonard School at Spring Creek during the school year 1886 to 1887. He had an experience involving Edward that would have a profound effect on a number of lives. Damn straight, Pat. According to McKeever, at this time, Sue and his first wife were living in a cabin on Rock Camp Run, a tributary of Spring Creek, and on land belonging to Jim Cutlip, his first wife's father. Sue was a young man of rather fine physique, apparently of great strength. He had a good singing voice and seemed to take a great delight in singing sacred music. I do not know whether he was connected with any branch of the Christian church. He was a great boaster of his strength. In fact, playing the role of a bully whenever you saw him. Every few days, the news could be circulated in the community that Sue had whipped his wife again. This went for some time. I do not recall who first suggested it, but it was agreed upon, my schoolmates, that we would go to his house some night and give him a nice cold bath in the deep hole of a water a short distance from his house.
Adam, can you read the next paragraph like Meredith Baxter?
No, I'm continuing with this voice, dear sir. And if you interrupt me again, I shall give you a stone cold slam that will leave you just unperturbed.
I mean, You can't pay for this kind of entertainment, people. This is
Yeah,
free.
right.
I mean, you know, it's free.
Everybody that's joining us at random is just like, what is
What
going
in the
on?
world is going on here? What have I turned on?
Well, you can't pay for it, but I paid my way on to here for
Right.
Yes, you did. Yeah. I'm just channeling right now.
I sure am. Steve Austin will be coming up soon. Don't worry.
The $1 Million Man or the wrestler?
Both.
Yeah, why not? The mob that gathered was made up of W.M. Walton, the teacher, Jim Walton, Doc Brown, Amos Williams, Jack Hanna, Doak B. Rapp, and several others, and myself. In casting lots, it fell on Doak Rapp, Jack Hanna, and myself to do the bathing. Doak's volunteered to call the shoe to the door and catch him. There are some moments that live in your mind forever, and this was such a moment. There was the death-like silence of the winter night and the biting, stinging, frost-laden air in our faces. Hear the creaking of my chair, much like the snow. The snow cracked and crumbled under our feet as we silently approached Shoe's cabin. When we reached the cabin, Hannah and I concealed ourselves behind a rock bench just in front of the porch. And Doak stopped at the edge of the porch and called out. Shoe came to the door in his night clothes, consisting of a shirt. Doak asked, "Can you show me the way to Nathan McKillen's?" Shoe replied with a question, "What is your name?" Doak, "My name is Raymond." Shoe, "Where do you live?" Doak, "I live near Addison." Shoe, "I don't know you. I believe I know you." All this time, Doak had been working a little closer to Shoe and finally jumped in and caught Shoe around the waist. Hannah and I went Doak's aid and pounced on Shoe like a wildcat on a rabbit. But before we got there, Shoe had succeeded in pulling Doak's into the house and had a firm grip on the door facing with his left hand. Hannah and I seized him, and the three of us gave a surge. The door facing flew off, and Shoe fell into our arms as limp as a rag. He never made another struggle, but begged for mercy like a child. We took him down to the water hole, broke through the ice, and soused him. Then we told him why we did it, and the other members of the mob stood by, not far away, and looked on. The next day, Shoe went before Squire Scott at Rennick Valley and swore out a warrant for Doak, Brown, Hannah, and myself. Hannah decided to change his boarding place. The warrant was placed in the hands of Constable Billy Mike Gillian, who served it on Brown and May. When the state had presented its case, Brown took the stand and testified he was not at Jim Cutlet's place that night and proved it by three of the mob. These statements were all true, but they were not called upon to state how close to Cutlet place they had been. Brown was released by the court, and on motion made by M. W. Walton, the warrants were set aside. After this trial, Shu's young wife went back to her father's home. Soon after this, Shu was sentenced by the Pocahontas County to the penitentiary for stealing a horse. While he was in the pen, his wife got a divorce and prepared herself as a teacher and taught until she married Tinka McMillan. They reared a large family of intelligent boys and girls. When Shu returned from prison, it was not long but until he married again and set up housekeeping on top of Droop Mountain, where his second and third wives died under peculiar and suspicious circumstances.
Coincidence? I think not.
No. He then married the woman for those murder he had tried and convicted by the circuit court at Lewisburg. McKeever does believe that the bathing of Sue had a consolation in that he has felt for a long time, that the three boys, totally ignorant of the fact that they were violating the law, took Trout Shoe from his house one winter night when the thermometer was registering 10 degrees below zero, broke the ice, and performed the rites of baptism, immersing him in a deep hole of water, prolonged a good woman's life for many years. In 1896, the Reverend R.R. Little, a Methodist circuit preacher in Greenbrier and Pocahontas County, were called to the home of Edward Shue on Droop Mountain to officiate a marriage. According to Reverend Little, I arrived there sometime in the afternoon of the day appointed for the wedding. The bride-to-be, a mere slip of a girl, was at Shue home, but Edward had gone for the marriage license. I waited there patiently until far into the night. An atmosphere of tension or uneasiness seemed to embrace all of those present and would not let go. Around midnight, Shue came with the license. Preparations were made for a marriage ceremony. The license was passed to me. On examination, I found the license was issued in Greenbrier County, and Shue, in the Shue home being in Pocahontas County. I told the contracting parties I could not perform the marriage ceremony in Pocahontas County on a license issued in Greenbrier County. Shue soon reminded me that it was a moonlight night, and that was less than a mile, and then less than a mile would put us across the county line to Greenbrier. So the bride and groom-to-be, wedding guest, and I proceeded down the country road until we crossed into Greenbrier County to Schulzer Place on the side of Droop Mountain, where I arranged to perform the marriage. When I came to the part of the ceremony where it says, if anyone has any objections, speak now or forever hold your peace, I waited, and after some time, I said, Thank you, Sky Daddy. He objects. He objects to this unholy union that's about to take place. I told him for the reason that the girl he wished to marry was a mere child. None of her people were present. It is now 1 o'clock in the morning, and we are all here in the country road. A marriage ceremony is a sacred rite and should at least be performed under ordinary circumstances. I cannot help but think there is something not right in this case, and I will not go further. So there will be no wedding, so as far as I am concerned. I later understood that the girl was only 15 years old, that Shu had persuaded her to visit her uncle in Droop Mountain, where he got her away from her parents, had prevailed upon her to marry him, and that they were to marry in Frankfurt the next morning, after I had refused to perform the ceremony. Zona Hester was a young, beautiful girl when she married Edward Shu, and she died mysteriously 2 months after that marriage. Zona's mother, Mary Hester, suspected that her daughter's death was not a natural one, and her suspicions were based on 3 things. First, the bad reputation of the husband. Second, his 2 previous wives had died violent deaths by strange accidents. Third, he had served time in prison for stealing a horse. Mary Hester began to pray that her daughter would appear to her and tell her the true story of her death. After a period of time, Mary related to those about her that her daughter had indeed appeared at her bedside 4 times and had told her that her husband had come home from work as a blacksmith and in a fit of rage had broken her neck with his strong blacksmith hands. Mary Hester convinced her brother-in-law to help her demand an autopsy. They went to the sheriff of Greenbrier County, who, although skeptical, was finally persuaded to order the grave opened and an autopsy performed. Going by the minute details which she said she had been given to her daughter, who returned from the grave to talk to her. Those details, she said, could not have known firsthand. The autopsy showed that Zona Hester Shu's neck was indeed broken as described. The story spread like wildfire. The deaths of Shu's 2 previous wives came out. Edward Shu was arrested and tried, and the testimony of Mary Hester was allowed in court by defense lawyer because he thought it would be treated as ridiculous. However, her testimony, along with the wealth of circumstantial evidence, was convincing. And Edward Shu was sentenced to prison for life, where he died 8 years later.
What you're saying is autopsies weren't as thorough as they are today.
No, not at all.
Oh, she's got a scarf around her neck. Let's just bury her like that. We don't need to check it.
Exactly. Might cover up those handprints. Mary Hester's daughter now lies in her grave in the cemetery of Soul Chapel Church in a peaceful rural area of Greenbrier County, and above her grave now stands a monument which reads, "In memory of Zona Hester Shu, Greenbrier Ghost, 1867 to 1897. The same brick courthouse where Edward Shu stood trial for murder is standing today. and the records of the murder trial are still there. The words of the Greenbrier ghost are recorded through testimony of her mother, Mary Hester. Did those words actually become from beyond the grave? 12 serious, solid citizens, after much deliberation, decided that they did. With this decision came the legend of the Greenbrier ghost, possibly the most notable ghost story that has persisted through the years in the United States. According to Case's Comment, a national lawyer's magazine, this is the only case in the United States where a man has been convicted of murder on the testimony of a ghost.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can't hear you, Joe. Can't hear you, Joe.
He's mute.
So for anybody who joined in during the middle of the reading of the Greenbrier ghost story there, that was Adam reading in multiple voices. I heard Marlon Brando. I heard, was that some Frankie there I heard as well?
That was just amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
It was a full cast adaptation.
I don't know how to even, I mean, that's some incredible talent right there.
But,
your sarcasm is noted, Ron. Thank you.
Oh no, that was great. That was good.
So did you go on any of these little jaunts around the state collecting the ghost stories with your grandpa?
Going around and collecting ghost stories, yes. Going around helping hawk his books, yes. Any state fair, any county fair, anything that, had anywhere you could put up a stand, much like your good selves.
Yeah.
You go to, you put out, and I trucked around boxes of the books and helped set up and then take down. I grew up on funnel cakes and all kinds of stuff, yes. I went around, collected. A lot of people mailed in. I remember reading a lot of the letters, like, here, read this one. What do you think? And
that's really cool.
I love the fact that he did, wanted it from the people's own words,
right?
Which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things when we get these stories. We said it a million times. These are stories that need to be preserved and told, and that's what he did. He told he told these stories, and we're still telling those stories, probably in ways that he would never imagined. Probably be horrified, quite frankly. But
I don't know. He absolutely loved the way I could, throw my voice and stuff like that and mimic and everything. I did one of Harry Carey, the Cubs announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he desperately wanted me to tape that and send it into the Cubs to see if I could get sent out there and do anything.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
That is just great. Well, folks,
does anybody have any questions for Adam now that we got that first story down?
Questions? Do you guys want to go through here and pull up any of the?
I've already.
Okay.
We got Kenneth. This is the only one that I didn't get to throw up there. This is first time on the chat. Usually watches this on a smart TV.
Oh my God! I wonder what we do to a smart TV. Do we just drop down its IQ till it's not a smart TV? Is that what we do?
Yeah, I think so. Now he's got to actually use his computer.
I'm sorry. We're not responsible for damages to smart systems.
Angie said that was one of her favorite West Virginia ghost stories. Girls come up from the grave to get them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I always love that story.
And Sharon H has joined the chat.
Sharon, welcome.
How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
To the world beyond.
Sarah Ramsey. Hey, how you doing? So what were some of the stories your grandpa would tell you? growing up. It's like some of the stuff that might not have made it into the book, but some of the ghost stories that he might have told you were sitting around on these.
There's a lot of stuff that was told on repeat.
I'm sure.
I'll
you
bet.
tried to start to suppress, you know.
Yeah.
But no, you know, I mean, a lot of the stuff that ghost stories and stuff that were kind of more personal and stuff were they've melded into the book so much. Hearing them from him and reading them, I don't quite remember what goes where and how and stuff like that about half the time. I was thumbing through the book earlier and I was surprised at how many UFO stories were in it.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I mean, my grandfather told so many different stories. My mom wrote down several in the book here. And some of her premonitions and ghost stories and stuff. I was going to try to read some of those later.
Yeah.
But you're making me really think tonight. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting
it doesn't hurt too bad.
No.
It's hurting.
It's hurting. You know.
He's not used to this.
Well, what was being out on the road, going out all the time and selling these books, what was it like talking to the people that were coming up and buying them?
Well, that
because I'm sure, like, I know from our side of the table, we get stories given to us that way as well.
Oh yeah, you get lots.
Oh yeah,
you hear like lots of people. Like, you would actually get to see some people thumbing through the books and go, "Oh, that's my uncle," or "That's my cousin," or "I know him. I went to school with him." And you know, then you would actually hear like an addition to like another story. Nice big subscribe, but
yeah, I think you're worth it. I mean, yeah,
but
that is large.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can't say they didn't see it.
I thought it was to tell me to shut up, but okay.
No, I have something else for that. Hang on. No.
Pat said, in regards to your having to think harder, that poor hamster. I see smoke.
It's a wood burning brain in here. There is no hamster. It's wood burning. You're seeing steam.
It's steam powered.
I got a boiler plate in my forehead.
Well, of course. Well, you know, I think it's just amazing, like I said, because you do get these stories. I mean, we get stories constantly. We have so many stories. We could probably write a book, but you know, who has time? But the thing is, like I said, it's about recording this stuff. And it's always important. That's why we encourage people to come forward with their stories or accounts. You know, tell your stories. Once it's in the public, it's there. You know, and hopefully someone's going to try to keep it alive for you.
Yeah. The thing is, if you tell your story, try to tell it in a format that will be recorded.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whether it's just on audio or a voice to text even.
Exactly. And when we do our reports, for example, we have there's a whole little, it's simple. You file your report and you've got little buttons there and you click those little buttons and those give permissions. I actually built those in. So we have permission to tell your story, or we don't have permission to tell your story, and we honor that. That's a record, and that's a record for you as well. So, you know, we didn't do it if someone tells your story, because that's not what we do. And, you know, if you're on a show like this and you tell your story, like Adam did. Adam came on. I think you were the first one to come on and tell one of the tales from the Wild and Weird, right? Like
he was.
Yeah,
first guest on the show.
Yeah,
or on the live.
Yeah, on the live. And when you did that, that's a record. That's a record. No one can take that away from you. No one can dispute that. You came on this date and told that story, and
it exists on YouTube forever.
Forever. But yeah, I mean, it's really good to have those stories, like I said, and keep them alive. And I admire anybody that does that.
I will say one thing. Like growing up, and, you know, you'd tell your teachers, hey, my grandfather writes books. And before you know it, he's coming to the class and wasting a day, for the teacher. It's
Yeah.
probably like a Monday after a big weekend or something, but
Yep.
Yeah.
We're familiar with that.
yeah, I come from
get,
a long line of teachers. I know that behavior.
Yeah, Ron goes with me to one of them, and then I'll do probably two more. One for my wife because she's a teacher, and
Yeah.
then one over in Winfield. And it takes a whole day, but I record other people's stories. Some of these kids are going out hunting, or some of these families and teachers who've had experiences. It's
I mean, like my class, we'd always write down experiences and, just write a thank you to them or whatever. And I remember quite a few of my classmates had ghost stories.
Mhm.
They would, write them to them, and then they would go, my grandfather, whoever, my grandfather with my mother, or whoever he would go with, and the parents would end up going, no, we don't want this published.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember those stories a lot better than I do like the onslaught. Like I think that making a definitive moment where it's like, oh, you don't want to do that, kind of made me remember those stories more than.
Yeah, I can totally get that. And it's just like Ashley had said, it's okay because you need to, these stories need to come out because people need to understand it's okay. It's normal. This is normal. You're going to see things, you're going to hear things, you're going to experience things that you can't quite explain. There's going to be people who try to tell you it's this or it's that or it's those things. That's neither here nor there. That's for you to determine on your own. But
I can tell you that
it's normal.
After last week, it was pretty therapeutic for me to talk about what happened with me.
I had a group session here last week, if you guys missed it. And Brandon came through with some really interesting data there. And, just kind of started his own ball rolling as far as, some weird stuff that was going on in his life. And, it's common. It's so common. We see this all the time. I mean, I've seen it a few times on a few other groups this week. People asking questions about things. And you look at it and you're like, there's a good chance that that's what's going on. So, they just need to be okay with it.
So Julie Bug asked, did I see you guys on Small Town Monsters show that they're doing from West Virginia? Yes, you did. You saw me and Ron in that one. A few episodes, I believe. We were a few of those.
Monsters.
And then you can also catch us in a few of their other productions as well. If you go back and watch Mothman Legacy, you'll see Ron in that one. And then Ron and I are both in
Dark Sky,
the On the Trail of UFOs, Dark Skies, and then you'll catch me in Bigfoot Beyond the Trail with Alexander and Eli over there doing an episode as well. I think I was in two of their episodes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What they're saying is they're
we love Small Town Monsters. We're their family.
Oh, that's a little harsh. I'm not buying Seth anything for Christmas until he lets me do that, Civil War Ghost episode.
Got to do the Civil War Ghost thing, man.
Yeah.
We got to get that thing into reality.
Yeah, that's how it is.
So Pat said that was a really powerful last week, Brandon, where you shared your encounter.
It really
Thanks.
was. Yeah, that was the closest I've ever been to probably like a regression session with someone. That's what it was like. But we did that live, which is, I don't know that that's been done. That was just amazing. I mean, the people who, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that. It's pretty revealing. It really is.
Julie Bug, we appreciate
appreciate
the kind words. Thank you. We're just doing the bare minimum, though. We're doing.
Oh yeah.
We're recording the data.
Yeah, it's you guys who are doing. You're doing it. I mean, that's why we're here. So, we get all these wonderful stories. We get these people come on like Adam to tell these stories. Well, we're gonna have what we got coming up. We got Angie coming up here during spooky season. We got Ashley coming on during spooky season. It's great. And what's great is these people become family. I mean, they really do, because I think we've said it before. It's like they just kind of like coalesce together. It's that weird magnet. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And everyone just gets together and, for one, little time during the week, 2 hours of the week, You get to put aside all the stress and the nonsense, and you come together and have some fun.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. I mean, we actually look forward to doing this show every week. This is a highlight of the week, especially if it's a busy week.
Yeah.
we've had some
And
busy
Julie,
weeks.
if you liked what you saw there with Small Town Monsters, you can go through our YouTube channels and or our playlist rather, and you'll see some of our investigation videos posted there because we document everything else ourselves as well.
Yeah, you'll get to see the
what you
actual
saw there with
original
Seth
footage.
is the same thing that we do practically anytime we go out and do an investigation, and then those eventually find their way to get edited and put together and pieced together into an episode, and they go up. So you can go back and watch some of our investigation stuff as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, we get some cool stuff.
Did you receive my email with alien photos? And man, what a story! The lady who shared the pictures with me is staying in touch with me, and I'm documenting her abduction story. I plan on sharing.
That was weird. Yes, I did get those, Tommy. And wow, weird. I don't know what I think about that photo, but that gave me cold chills, especially the one at the bottom. And why it gives me cold chills is not because I believe that that's what's there. I believe there's something there, but I also believe that whatever that is, those different faces that you saw, that almost to me seems like that's more evidence of this multiphasic reality thing going on. And, the temporal anomaly kind of thing that we always talk about, like some kind of extra dimensional thing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely terrifying. I mean, I'm not kidding. I have to show those to Adam because Adam has shown me something at one point, and I want to get his take on something on this.
I had to show them to me too. I didn't see them.
Yeah, I'll send those over there and let you guys have a look at that because wow is all I can say about it. I don't know what I feel, man. I really don't. All I said is when I saw it, that one gave me cold chills. Now the top one's very pixelated. There's a very, there's a good bout of probable pareidolia kind of going on there, but those other ones, dude, those are amazing. Sarah's
asking, what town or city in West Virginia, in your opinion, is the most haunted?
That's a good question.
Who wants to go first?
Charleston's up there.
Question.
I think the whole damn place.
Yeah.
I wish Dave was here. He would be better equipped to probably
with the
that.
historical haunting stuff. And
Yeah.
Teresa could chime in too. Teresa's here watching. She's got some plenty enough data to probably draw a conclusion there.
Honest to goodness, though, like you just said,
Sarah just Teresa just said, honestly, the whole Eastern Pan.
Mm-hmm.
Moundsville's pretty haunted. Moundsville's had a lot of tragedy happen up there that people don't realize.
The Eastern Pan was site to so many Civil War battles.
Atrocities. Absolute atrocities out here. And, it went into Civil War, Native. There was all kinds of skirmishes in that way.
There's a lot of skirmishes that happen in this area, and people don't even know about them. There's no markers really.
Droop Mountain, where Adam was just talking about the story with the Greenbrier Ghost. Droop Mountain has its own series of hauntings.
That's right.
You'll see the march. If they say that if the moon phase is the same moon phase as the night they marched, you have a good chance of seeing them march from Droop.
I've actually heard that.
People have heard drum beats and everything.
Yep.
Full Phantom Regiments. I've heard at times.
We got to go up there and work a couple weekends at Droop when I was working as a naturalist for the state parks, and that was part of the stuff. We told all the stories in the lore, and we saw the museum and had all the stories there, and it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Pat says Weston.
I think
that's his guess.
My whole thing is, if Dave was here, he could, like I said, he would go over this a lot better, and I don't have the graphic right now. I don't know where it's at. It's hidden here somewhere, but Dave had a theory that it was based upon magnetism. And this was years ago, back when we were doing, right after Ghost Watch, actually. And that was like 2011, 2012, something like that. But he believed it had to do with magnetism because a huge portion of West Virginia sits in a negative magnetic region. And there's only a couple of places where we have negative magnetism. One's out in Utah, and massive one's here. And I think there's one up toward Pennsylvania near the Chestnut Ridge.
Is the one in Utah, is that where Skinwalker Ranch happens to be?
No, it's not near Skinwalker. It's in the same state, but it's not. You can't.
Geographically, it's not near it.
No.
Aside from being within the state borders.
Right, exactly. And it's really
It's
small.
a big place.
It's huge here, but there it's not very big. And you see the little spots all across the country, but we have this massive negative space. And it's really sobering to look at. And it's like, what in the world is causing that? But
You think maybe it's all the caves that we have under the state?
could be. Yeah, it could be.
That big ocean that we have?
Could be, man. I mean, that's a great guess because it's really that big. And
Yeah, it takes up most of the state.
Yeah, and it does. And he thinks that's kind of what a lot of the negative energy and whatnot basically is based on. And we know, like you just said, water, right? Water is a huge energy source for paranormal activity for some reason. Julie, what's got Julie got?
Julie asked, any sightings of any cryptids in Mingo County? I remember when I was really young that I heard of a wild man that my grandmother talked about. The sightings that we have in our database, and just sightings that have been reported to us, there was a sighting out Mate Creek, right outside of Matewan. And then there was another sighting, again, just outside of Matewan, about 2.5, 3 miles from the sighting up Mate Creek. I'm not sure if you're familiar where the Mingo Central is located, the high school that they consolidated out there. It was just past the school. There was somebody that had a road crossing sighting, and they sent those into us. But those are the only two from Mingo County that I've got.
Well, I've got the second volume of the book here, and I'll do a story as well. Figure out which one we want to do here. I'm not sure.
Okay. So Theresa said not to self-promote. Well, go ahead. We don't care.
Self-promote.
You're part of the family.
Yep.
You've
That's
got,
what we do.
Theresa says she's got quite a few Mingo County area stories on her blog, and feel free to check those out.
Definitely.
I'm sure one of those is probably one of my favorites, which was the old Hatfield McCoy ghosts and how they go down and get baptized in the river there.
I used to live in Dingus for a couple years, and there's an old train tunnel that they converted into a road, and people often see the ghosts of bodies hanging inside of that tunnel.
Oh wow. Pat said my dad was a scoutmaster and ran into Phantom Regiment when he visited Gettysburg when he was about 8.
Oh
wow.
I've always wanted to go to Gettysburg,
Oh,
especially around the
cool.
anniversary.
Ashley asked, are you guys born and raised in West Virginia?
Yep.
Yeah. I left a couple times and then always wound up coming back. It's kind of like a big magnet.
Yeah, it is like a big magnet. You're right.
Yeah.
I love the coast, but this is the place, where I always come back to. And I was born here. Yeah.
You're saying that country roads took you home?
Yeah, I was born in Sissonville, actually. Let me see if I can find us a story. I don't like that one.
Oh shit! Julie said that that's actually where she's from, over in Matewan, over at Beach Creek. I know where Beach Creek's at too. I used to do a lot of work over in my car, right across the river from you.
I love that area because it's so quiet down there.
Oh man, unless there's like a freight train going through.
Yeah, coal trucks.
Yeah, that'll work, right?
Pat says they thought it was a reenactment group that marched past, but when they looked again, they were gone. Dad was really freaked out, which I've never seen him be that way since.
Yep, I've heard that before.
It reminds me of something that happened to me once.
BigfootLittlefoot's in the house. What's up?
Hey, welcome.
Julie says Devil Lance Hatfield is my great uncle. Wow. Awesome.
Hey, you guys want to see something really cool? I'll show you something really cool in this book. And you can't get it anywhere else but this book. Can you see that?
No.
Picture of Adam as a youngling.
Oh, that's Adam.
Pictures of Adam Good as a youngling without
page
facial hair.
133.
Oh, look at that one.
Oh, there's even younger.
With me and Mom.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, hey, Adam, will you read the dedication page?
Yeah. Dedicated to my wife, Madeline, and to our 9-year-old grandson, Adam Good, who threatened to yell if the ghost book wasn't done soon.
Oh, that's just great.
Forever shamed.
No.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and you know, is it in the yours? Is it in the big print? Because it's in this. It's in a really big print.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he made sure that everybody saw that. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I have a copy somewhere. I think mine was the 5th printing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't have a copy, but I sold a lot of them whenever I was in the gift shop at Canal State Forest.
We can still get you one if you want a copy.
Yeah, I need to get me.
Amazon has it. Everybody has it.
Adam will autograph it for you, too.
He will.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone into libraries and autographed the copies in the library.
Huh.
That's cool.
Here's a good one. This is The Schoolyard. This is by Rebecca Elliott.
Oh.
And I'm not going to use any funny voices, so you just have to.
Theresa says she has a copy on cassette tape as well. Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I'd forgotten there was a cassette made of it.
Did Harry Carey narrate that one by chance?
I'll read his Harry Carey here if you want to after we do Ron.
Well, this is a really short one, so yeah, why not?
ahead,
when I
Ron.
was so when I was a little girl, and that was many lives ago. Just clarifying.
When Ron was a little girl.
It was a long time ago. I don't even remember it. It was so long ago. My mother
You'll
always
be a woman soon.
God. My mother always told me that if I was good, that I would get to see my great grandparents again someday. And I believe this with all my heart. I remembered both of my grandparents very well, even though it had been years since they died. So one day I was at school in the schoolyard playing ball with some friends, and I felt sort of funny. It was as if someone was watching me. Creepy. And one of the other kids kicked the ball over in some weeds, so I ran over to get it, and that's when I saw my grandparents smiling at me from the clouds. From the clouds. We know who comes from the clouds.
Which one?
We know.
Sky Daddy.
That's right.
Matthew McConaughey.
They had a glow about them, just like the Sky Daddy. You have to forgive us, folks. It's a live show. Sometimes they don't get the cues. It's just how it works. I felt a great peace when I saw them, much like the Sky Daddy. Then, off in a distance, the bell rang. I turned away, but only for a second. And when I turned back, wouldn't you know it, they were gone. No one else saw them either but me. And I know that I wasn't asleep. Well, I should hope not. They were listening, or they were letting me know that they loved me. Isn't that a sweet story? It's a sweet story. I'm going to absolutely have to harm Brandon there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. It's okay. When you get that straightened up, you unmute yourself now. Live show, folks. Live show. You just never know what's going to happen on a live show.
You never know what I might do.
That's right. You never know what you might do. That does sound. That sounds better. That sounds better, actually.
All you can do is smile and pat Brandon on the head.
Yeah. It's kind of what you do. Okay, I'm not going to, because it just seems like I'm bullying him.
No, I think we should. You think? Bullied him last week whenever you were playing the flute.
Yeah.
And he started talking about meteors and tearing apart the sky and everything. And
that was spooky, though, man. That went into some spooky territory for real. So
I mean, you stopped in the middle of playing.
Yeah, it got me. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't funny anymore.
If you were playing the theremin, that might have actually put me in hypnosis.
We can try. Would you like me to hypnotize? You know, I did that once for real. I did do that. I did regress. I've regressed a few people actually, and it's weird to say the least. But there's nothing hokey to it. There's nothing weird about it. You just kind of, get relaxed and let them start kind of thinking. The name of the book is The Greenbrier Ghost and Other Strange Stories. There's volume 1 and number 2 and number 3 of this book.
By Dennis Dietz.
Hey, isn't number 2 the same as number 1?
No.
It's not. I thought he said it was.
Scott, I'm just saying, if y'all are getting together to go Bigfoot, you better give us a call, man.
Maybe this winter.
Y'all are close enough for us to reach out and get with you. Oh. Uh-oh.
Hey, Ada.
Uh-oh.
They missed. Yes, actually, and that brings me to the next point. You guys amuse yourself. I'll be back.
Well, guys, Ada, thank you for the super sticker. You're awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is huge. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. That's right. Ada got the double. That is right. So,
did you like me to read another story?
Well, hold on. We'll see what Ron has in store here. But Pat says we broke Ron.
Let me change my pop filter again. He lost it.
And
okay, I'm back.
Ada says, "I love to hear the laughter and the fun here
Ada,
in the show."
You just supported the show with
too.
a super sticker.
Huge dopamine.
And you folks who do the super stickers and super chats, you can do any dollar amount you
What?
want. But
what?
Whoa!
Oh God.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
You're
hear you.
loud and clear. You're good.
Yep.
Check your connection.
Hang on.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. Thank you guys. It's Bigfoot, Littlefoot. You guys are great. Thank you. And when I wasn't joking either, you guys are close enough out there in Kentucky land to get a hold of us. Would love to go out Bigfoot with you all.
I'll be back. I can't hear anything.
Even that I think it wasn't Kenneth, was it? It was somebody else over there in Eastern Kentucky. You know, if you guys are wanting to get out and go hit the woods here this year, we are down. We've got some time coming up here. Pat says Bigfoot Littlefoot actually broke Ron. Yeah, I think so, because the connection's being real squirrely there. Makes up day. There's no makeup period. There's no subscription. There's no what you did was amazing. We appreciate you.
Exactly.
Those things right there, it's what keeps the show going and keeps it like from digging into projects that we're trying to work on. And it helps make it free to the point where we don't have to do subscriptions, where we don't have to do the various, go and like join and buy me a burger or a coffee or whatever those things are out there anymore. You guys who come here every week and donate, you are keeping it free literally for everybody, because it keeps us from having to do those other extra monetizations. And we appreciate it. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it, because it blows us away every week. The people help the show and help us out with the show. So we're going to go ahead and let's see where it's in the should be up at the top. I'm trying to find the ticker. Yes. We're gonna have to add you in here.
So we'll have a ticker
again,
right.
Back to the super chatters. Executive producer who's with us, Adam Good, Theresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, James Boggs, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitarchains Craig, Travis Aurednik over at the Deep End Antiques, Geoffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy
Can you guys hear me?
Scott Holbrook, and now.
See, I can't hear you at all.
Now, yeah, we can hear you. And now, BigfootLittlefoot, we're going to add you in there onto the roster, so that way you're going to be read off every week, as well with everybody else there. We thank you all, everybody who's donated to the show. You guys are fantastic. Pat says donations are a vaccine against integrated, unskippable ads. they are. They are. It helps keep all that stuff at bay and helps keep us from having to do extra stuff that puts more pressure on you guys to like, oh, well, I want to see the live show. I want to listen to extra content, things like that. It just keeps it free forever. And yeah, you guys have done it. We appreciate you guys. BigfootLittlefoot says, thank you. This is my favorite show. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in every week, even though you're late every now and then, but we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you. So Adam, when you're out and you're, again, just going back to like getting those stories, and you were talking about some of the UFO stories, these are the haunting stuff and things like that. What were some of the stories that really stood out to you?
Well, I think the ones that really stood out were the ones that you were talking with someone and it kind of made a connection, like a similar thing has happened to you, but also you just kind of feel like this connection that's more ethereal.
Yeah.
And your bullshit meter isn't going off, and
right,
you feel like you're talking to a cousin or something like that, where you turn around and you go, oh geez, I've been talking to you for 45 minutes, feels like 5. And
right,
you've gone deep into everything.
How many times I've been in that situation?
Yeah. And it did bring me out of my shell when I was much younger and helped me figure out who I wanted around me in my circle and stuff like that. And, just the stories that really stood out, though, were always the weirder ones, not like the normal, like, oh, I was walking down the hallway, looked into the guest room, and there was a ghost. I went down the hallway, next thing I knew, I was out in my yard. And just, you could tell that this person wasn't on drugs or
right,
addicted, alcoholic or anything. They genuinely had a concern. Why is this stuff happening to me? And that's the stuff that I always really, really got into.
Yeah, we've had that happen. Because with the Bigfoot stuff, you'll have somebody come and tell you a report. Normally you don't get a why is this happening with the Bigfoot report, but you'll see that more when the hauntings and with the UFO extraterrestrial phenomena. So
Okay, we got it.
Good. We got Ron back. Ron's back. That Bigfoot Littlefoot broke the show there for a minute with an earth-shattering donation, and now we got Ron back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I couldn't process that, and it just absolutely blew my mind. Bigfoot, Littlefoot, God bless you. And what I was trying to say before everything went to crap there, yeah. So I made you guys a little something today. I'm going to keep making these for anyone who gives over, and obviously you just got one. For anyone who gives over 20, actually, if anyone gives over 10, because they have literally nothing in them. Everyone who gives over $10 to us on our, super chat and all that stuff, I'm going to send you one of these. And these are little alien good luck charms. And those are little symbols that I put in there for you. And it'll have a little ring. Awesome. It'll have a little ring on it, and you can just put that on, wear it, whatever you want to do. But cool. They're carved out of they're laser engraved and carved out of a mirror acrylic. So you can use it to signal airplanes with. I guess if you get lost in the desert too, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you can the signals.
See? Yeah, see, there you go. That's what I'm trying to do with it. There we go. You got it. So anyway, so you guys, yeah, it's a little good luck charms with some glyphs on it, and these are the little glyphs that I've been doodling in notebooks since I was about, I don't know, 15 years old or so. But what you need to do with these is you need to collect them all, because there's going to be different colors of these eventually too. And you don't know which one you're going to get. Yeah, I know, that's the gimmick, right? So good luck. Hope you get the whole set. I don't even know what the whole set is yet, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, they will not
I'm the
all
one that
be the
writes
same.
the book, and I don't know what the rules are.
No, they will not be all the same. I know that for a fact. So, yeah, good luck to you guys. And maybe, just maybe, there might be like a little golden ticket version of this thing at some point. I don't know. Could happen. But I'll let you know. So anyway, everybody who did over 10 tonight, you're getting one of these. So make sure that you get us your name and address before the show ends, and or after the show ends, whatever. Just get it to us so we can send you one of these out.
Hey, Terry, thanks for jumping on.
Terri.
We appreciate you.
Welcome.
Oh, Joe, we were talking about while Joe was gone. One thing that I think listening, like when I mentioned the bullshit meter and all that, I think that listening to everyone led to one of my grandfather's accolades, which he was a judge for the lying competition for many years. So I think hearing a lot of strange tales kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got some strange tales, so
that's the truth.
They're out there.
So Pat asked for Adam to tell your favorite story.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Keeping it free, baby. Keeping it free.
Absolutely. So I got to go add Bigfoot Littlefoot over on the banner right now. So you guys carry on. Do your thing.
Yep. Okay. Bigfoot Littlefoot's got to get added to the scroller.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the one that I kind of remembered enough. Okay, so Trooper sees strange lights in the sky. Excerpt from Charleston Gazette.
And I'm adding Tommy Swiger up. Anyone else while I'm typing?
While he's got the edit open. Guys, Tommy, Larry, thank you guys both.
For real. And give us your address. Send your address.
Yeah, you're going to have to reach out to us over on Facebook at Wild and Weird Radio, or you can send it in an email to wildandweirdwv@gmail.com.
Yep.
So Theresa agrees that's one of her favorite stories as well. So let's get into it, Adam.
Yeah, that's what I was about ready to do.
Yeah.
Oh, who's going to read this one? Who's going to read this one? Whose voice we're going to do?
Well, Ron, you're going to get what you get. A state police trooper in Raleigh County thought he was responding to a crank call.
He's as crazy as that.
When he received a report of a strange lights in the sky near the West Virginia Turnpike. But Trooper John Ferda of the Beckley Detachment discovered when he reached the scene in the Sand Branch area that the report was no hoax. Hovering in the sky over the turnpike was a cluster of bright lights. Looks like maybe 2 or 3 high-beam flashlights come closer in a cluster. It was high enough to be above the tree lines in the horizon. It was not making any noise, Ferda said. As Ferda and other police officers at the scene watched, the lights appeared to move from left to right, then dropped out of sight, Ferda said. He observed the lights for nearly an hour before they disappeared. He and the other policemen went to an area near the West Virginia Turnpike where the lights appeared to be coming from. But they could not find any source for the aerial shot. The lights had no distinct shape and did not appear to be attached to anything. They were just there, Ferda said. Raleigh County Airport officials said no aircraft was reported over the area at the time of the incident, which occurred around 2 a.m. However, Ferda said he cannot accept the idea that strange phenomena may have been caused by extraterrestrial beings. There's an explanation based in reality, he said.
Aliens.
Cubs win.
Pat said he never knew until tonight that he needed to hear Harry Carey telling UFO stories. Oh, man.
That was fun.
My grandfather's pretty proud right now.
Oh, I would say, I mean, it's not every day you get to do improv, music on an iPhone, and just
Harry Carey reading a UFO.
This is live performance, folks. I mean, this is, thank you guys, because that would probably be about what we would get in tips out on the street if we did this live, right, Adam? I mean,
it's a TR3B. It's a TR3B.
Scared me, man. TR3B.
Now it's the TR3E, right? TR3E.
TR3E. Yeah,
it's the TR3E.
It's a TR3E. See, it's official, man. It's a TR3E.
What?
Oh, what?
Stop.
Dedicated to our favorite hairy hominid.
Absolutely amazing.
I'm telling you, speaking of dedicating to the favorite hairy hominid, Ron and I will be doing a piece with the news next week. And you will want to catch it.
We'll let you know when it's going to be on.
We're going to let you know when it goes up, but you will appreciate it. You will appreciate it.
Yes, I believe so. I absolutely believe so. My gosh, Scott, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Like I said, you weirdos and weirdettes, keep it going. And as long as you keep doing that, we're gonna keep doing this. So.
Pat says, just out of curiosity, what comes after executive producer status? Seems like you guys will need one soon. I know, right?
Yeah. Executive producer, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The Supreme Allied Commander.
Right. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Supreme Allied Commander. Yeah. Commander Zorp ranking.
Yeah.
Probably something like that. But yeah, that's fantastic. Well, we'll definitely have to do some more live, improv stuff.
Right, and open up the proverbial guitar case and set it out.
I guess. I mean, I'm gonna probably have to start playing actual guitar for you guys next. But
yay, Theresa!
There you go, Theresa. Thank you,
Theresa. We love you.
What is going on?
What? Thanks for the show, fellas. Not sure if this is the right time or place, but I recently learned about the Kandahar giant story. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can talk about that here in a minute. Yeah. Have you heard of any reports of out of the Nangar province? Where any report?
Where to report my experience?
Where to report my experience? Okay, well, for starters, you can report any experiences that you've had, and then we can get them into the right hands if it's not something that we can go do ourselves. We are teamed with various researchers around the world now, where we've got people in other countries that we can reach out to. And but you can send in your report, and that way we can get it on paper, where it will be over at wildandweirdwv.com. Click on the report a sighting tab, but we will touch this Kandahar giant story here in a minute. And what is going on?
I don't have a clue. What in the world? Terri, thank you. Folks,
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, folks who don't know, Terri used to run with me back in the old Ghost Watch days, and as well as Dave Roberts and Barb and Terry's husband Rick. And we used to aggravate the crap out of our camera guy, Randy, which was great. But
it's just fun to aggravate Randy anyway.
It's always fun to aggravate Randy. But yeah, thank you. Huge thanks.
Theresa said there's going to be a whole lot of Ron's alien pins out there.
I know.
Yeah. So again, everybody who sent in a donation, shoot us an email at wildandweirdwv@gmail.com with your address, and we'll get your goods to you. We're going to send you a little token of our appreciation.
Yep, absolutely. And next week I might actually, play a song for you or something if you're gonna do that. I don't know. I feel wrong. I feel like I deserve. You guys deserve something. No. We're gonna do a little bit of Cryptidville. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You want me to just come on and read a voice from like one story a week or something?
I think so.
Yeah, that's right.
No, for real, Adam. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Joe.
I want to get back to JCS 8313's question before we
pop that back up there.
Get back here. So speaking about the Kandahar giant story, are you guys, everybody who's on the show, I know Ron's familiar with it. We've covered a little bit. Brandon, are you familiar?
Yep.
Okay. So, and Adam's familiar. We've got several listeners in the audience who are probably familiar with it as well. So I'm going to Campbell's condense it. And that is where in Kandahar, a red-haired giant allegedly attacked a platoon of, I believe it was Marines,
Killed Marines. Yeah.
and it essentially owned them. Like, it was not a pleasant encounter. There were multiple fatalities, including the Kandahar Giant, and then it is one of those deals where you've got the government covering up what took place allegedly, and we don't know because there's not enough information out there to really go one way or the other. I can tell you this: used to be. I haven't spoke with him in years, but I was a former minister, and I was actually friends on and would chat back and forth via email with L.A. Marzulli, who is where he's the one who reported the case. I believe the first time it was ever made out on a podcast, and I think it was over on the Confessionals. And LA came on that show, and he talked about it because he was real big into the giant and Nephilim studies, and especially with the red-haired giants and the similarities between what happened in Kandahar and the similarities to what took place over in Lovelock Cave, because the beings that were described from the First Nations people and the Kandahar giant are practically identical. Mm-hmm. Anita said she remembers it from back when it first hit the net. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I remember that too.
It's one of those topics where there's enough information to build a case for it, but I don't think there's been anything and again, we've had so much stuff come out with UFO disclosure here in the last 4 years since 2017 that, when is some of this other stuff going to start trickling out? But then, like I said, man, with your report, you can jump over to wildandweirdwv.com, hit the report a sightings tab, and you fill out the questionnaire, fill out your comments there underneath of what exactly you saw and experienced, and then it will email it straight to us. And we'll be able to, if you're in an area where we can reach to help you out with investigation or just talk to you or whatever, we'll do that. If it's something that we can get the boots on the ground for, we'll do that as well.
Absolutely.
I wanted to add something to that too.
Go ahead.
Wasn't the story that the giant was whisked away by a government vehicle?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it was put under a tarp, carried off on a helicopter.
Yep. That's the story that I had heard.
I heard another story that was similar to that on, I think it might have been Sasquatch Chronicles. It was another soldier was stationed out there, and he was the one who actually went and tried to negotiate with the Taliban. He was with somebody, a couple other soldiers, talking to some Taliban guys out in Afghanistan, and they were talking back and forth. And the head of the Taliban group that they were talking to was telling them stories about giants who lived in the hills and how they could easily take them up there to go see them, but they were terrified of them because they would just attack them on sight if they happen to see people back there. And I think they showed that guy like a scalp or something. They had to cut off one of them, and he said it did have long red hair. So that matches a lot of the stories that we have over here in the U.S. too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Anita said she forgets the exact year it happened, but remember it was about a year after the war in Afghanistan started. Yeah, it was early 2000s. Right when we first went into Kandahar.
Yep.
Because we set up.
Kandahar was one of the first big places that we occupied, wasn't it?
Yep. It was one of the first places we set up a air base, tactical air base.
So what's your feeling on it?
It just because you have the story, right? It's got that Bob Lazar kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where somebody talked about it, and it's possible it could happen. There's been skeletons of that size and stature dug out of mounds here.
We know that, yeah.
All through the Ohio Valley. So we're working with a story that doesn't have a whole lot of evidence on it, but at the time, Bob Lazar's story didn't either. And now you look and see where things are at now. It's hard to say. Like I want to lean into that at some point and see if there's more, because I do have some contacts when I was a minister that are still over in the Middle East that I can reach out to and just ask what they think, just to get opinions.
Mhm.
So I mean, that would be.
Well,
I think
there's
that'd probably
that.
be where I'd start, but like, it's one of those things where it does, when you read it and you hear it on the surface, it just seems freaking off the wall,
Right.
because you've got service members who were killed. That's
Right.
You got to write that off.
That's
That's a lot of
traceable.
paper.
Yeah, that's paper. So that should be easy to verify.
Yeah.
Or to debunk,
And you've got
right?
injuries that occurred,
That's right.
and those injuries are covered by the VA. My right foot is still covered by the VA, even though I'm no longer in the military. If anything happens where I get like an injury or joint injuries that are attributed to that foot, then, you know, they cover it. So they would be covered. But then again, some of that stuff gets scrubbed. You know,
Right.
the VA will still cover your injuries, but when you look up how you got them, that might be squirrely.
Questionable.
That might be
That
different.
would be questionable.
And then you go back, and here we had the loss of life here of U.S. soldiers allegedly in Dulce.
Yeah.
And you had,
now we have to look at all that. You know, it was easy at first just to write that off, you know.
Yeah.
But now with every little bit of, you know, revelation that comes forward, we have to look back at some of those more elaborate claims. And like we always said, everything on the table, literally. And I'm not ready to
remember what
make a
happened.
ruling on it.
Remember what
What's
happened
that,
after the Rendlesham UFO incident? Some of those guys had their entire military career erased.
Yeah.
Scott was saying, just showing appreciation and how much we all love the show here. It's all, you know, with all the donations. Scott, I've noticed, is running on like a 10-minute delay on the show.
Thank you.
But Scott, man, we appreciate you.
Something else I wanted to bring up. There was a video that started floating around the same time that giant story came out of what was supposedly an old VHS recording of the body of Gilgamesh that was found in a dried out part of the Euphrates River.
Yeah, I remember the
condition.
story that was written up on that.
I don't remember that one. But yeah, I mean, we know that you know, obviously the giant thing is very real. We
and
live
Bigfoot
here.
Littlefoot mentioned, didn't one of the soldiers get speared while approaching the giant's cave?
Yeah,
that's the legend.
That is the story.
Yep. That is the legend. He was impaled.
Tommy says there are mounds that you can just feel the energy coming from. Up behind my house, creepy feeling. You walk near them. I'd love to know what it is buried inside of them. I'm assuming giants.
Or
that's
artifacts.
what the natives said.
And we don't
White
know what
people
that
asked
is.
about it.
Yeah, and we don't know what that is, to be fair. You know.
Yeah.
With the energy you're feeling, there's multiple ways of you know, of addressing that, whether it be something metaphysical or whether that be some kind of a technology that something had at some point. Who knows? I mean, we can't say no to any of that at this point.
So JC, I hope that that kind of answered the question you had there about what we had heard about it and where you could report to. But thanks for the donation. Thanks for hanging out with us on the show. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Huge.
We're eventually going to do an episode about the Nephilim, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you guys a huge
Yeah.
laundry list of stuff to look and read over in your emails. Sarah Ramsey says we have a farm in Nettie with 3 mounds on the property, and she fully agrees.
Yeah. You ever see anything weird out there, Sarah? Like any kind of weird lights or anything particularly? Speaking of lights, I have a
Thanks, JCS. We appreciate you.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yes,
we'll take a look at that here once as soon as the show's wrapped up in about 45 minutes.
I've got an actual report here, which they said it was okay to address on social media, and that would be this. And I'm not reading their names. We don't read your names, but I'm going to give you the general location. It's in Winfield, and this is more or less just for people who may have been in the area who may have seen something like this. But it was on September 6th is when this was from. It is between 8:15 and 8:50 p.m. They spotted over 20 unexplained glowing objects manifesting out of the sky. Now, I know what you're thinking because that's what I thought at first too, but it gets better. They were sitting in their backyard looking across the river when at the mountains, and that across the river on the mountains that is forested, started seeing glowing red-orange lights manifest in the tree line. They floated up a bit and then disappeared, one right after another, out into thin air. That's not Starlink, because that's what I was thinking at first too. But what this is consistent with those orb reports we've been getting. It's 100% consistent with those orb reports that we've been getting, where they are just there. They float up about tree level height, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So, these things are happening out there. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears peeled. And when you see something like that, definitely, just like this person did, go over and fill out the little sightings report thing over there on our webpage, and we'll enter that into the data set, because the more people we have looking for this stuff, the better off we are.
Yeah, that's the only way to find the answers.
Weirdness all the time at the farm and our home in Elkview. Well, there you go. See? And that's one of the polls I had asked this week. A question I had asked, and you guys have been great answering it, was I was trying to figure out the data link between families, basically, and sightings and strange paranormal phenomena, things like that. And it does absolutely, it pretty much validated everything that, all the data that I'd had at this point anyway. I mean, I think that none of this stuff is singular. Usually it's either your parents who had seen it or their parents had seen it before you. And if you go back and look, you'll figure out that it's been there. It's common, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, common. I've heard of some researchers who've connected abductions that go back generations.
Yeah, it's there. All that data is right there. And a lot of those abductions, as you call them, the contact experiences.
Anita asks, do we want just West Virginia reports or from anywhere? We take them from anywhere because our show's a global show. We have an audience that's worldwide. And so we take reports of high strangeness from anywhere on the planet. And we actually know people all around the world that we can get those reports into the hands of if they, are wanting a follow-up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if not, the data sets are very valuable, because we could possibly track, say, a UFO moving from, well, I saw it in this state and we saw it in this state, and we could probably track that out and figure out where this thing maybe actually went.
Sarah says we have photos and videos of orbs above the trees and the base of trees.
There you go.
And we need to, I sent you a friend request a little bit ago on Facebook, Sarah. We need to get out your way, because you're too close to not come do an investigation with.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's the kind of data that we look for. And just to get you an idea, Sarah, if you don't know, if you haven't seen any of our...
You remember Sarah, right, Ron?
Which one?
Sarah Ramsey. She's from the paranormal group. She was there with us.
Yes.
The Nitro thing.
Yes,
she's the one that pointed out the uniform.
Gosh, yes. The phone incident. Yep. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So you do know what we do. So that would be just fantastic if we could actually get out there and catch some data at some point in the future. Because I think it is. I think it's valid. I think it's very important, and I think it means something.
So Tommy was saying that they have the Adena mounds there in Tyler County, and the largest mound in the state, maybe on the East Coast. Yeah, the highest mound is there at Moundsville. Mm-hmm. And then I think the largest on the East Coast, but it might be even Midwest, Serpent Mound is just monstrous in its volume. But that's over in Ohio.
There were some bigger ones in St. Louis, but they bulldozed all those to build the city.
Oh yeah, they're all over from Michigan, from like the panhandles in Michigan all the way down to parts of Tennessee. like the parts where Kentucky and Tennessee touch, right in through there were some very, very, very large mounds that were all destroyed for developmental reasons.
Yeah, did you know they blew up a few to build the arch in St. Louis?
I'm not surprised one bit.
That makes me mad.
Of course.
Tommy says that I try to teach my kids about paranormal things and Bigfoot and Mothman so they'll be familiar with it. If it happens to them, they can explain it better.
At least they can't, maybe not even explain it, but at least not be terrified of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of this stuff, it's a witness kind of thing. Like, sometimes it is just a one-off thing, but sometimes it's not. I mean, you have to really look at it, like in Brandon's case. What seems like a one-off thing, you start looking at other data, and all of a sudden,
Bigfoot Littlefoot says Charleston, West Virginia was all mounds. It really was. There was 86 or 87 mounds throughout the Charleston area, and only 3 remain in the immediate Charleston area.
There were tons of mounds. Literally at the foot of where I live, there was allegedly, a massive mound, which actually looked like
the Cahokia.
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
They actually said that it looked a lot like Mayan temples, and it was built in that. So Cahokia, basically, it's like the Cahokia mounds. Yeah, and it was completely leveled, and they built the interstate through.
Sarah said she would love for us to come out. Honestly, never stayed the night at the farm, not once. The farm's out in Nettie.
There you go. I say that's a thing we do this spring, is what I say.
Yeah, I agree. Anita said the Cherokee in North Carolina say that they built the mounds around here by bringing back earth in pots from places they traveled to.
I could see that. Yeah.
So we're, we got into the mounds, we got into the giants, we got into some of that stuff. Where do you want to take this one at now? Because we've veered a little bit off of ghost stories. Some
it's okay. I mean, we're still technically in. But
no, we're
stuff.
in the lane. We can.
Yeah,
we can go with it. What do you want to hit on there? Because there's a lot. There is a lot.
There's a ton. I mean, because we have used that term, and you get to see this tomorrow in tomorrow night's episode of the actual podcast. We kind of talked about there was an interview that I was in there in the Gazette this week, and Theresa was in it too. It was a really good little interview, and on our part, I focused on that we basically we're data driven, et cetera, and we don't know what a ghost is. Ghost to us it's a word. And we try to use that to encompass a lot of possible phenomena. So really, when we say ghost stories, any story, it's an X story. Yeah. As I changed the old, if you're still here, Terri, I changed the old intro to the Ghost Watch thing. Every town has a great ghost story. Now it's every town has a great X story, because it's either going to be UFOs or a Bigfoot story or a puppy dude story or something story. So yeah.
Puppy dude?
Yeah.
You mean Dogman?
I didn't say that. You did.
Yeah. Dogman at your house?
You said that, not me.
Dogman at Ron's?
I didn't say that.
No, yeah, I think I heard Dogman at Ron's.
No, you didn't.
Dogman.
No, I think
Ron is going to
pretty sure not. Pretty sure not.
Sarah said a week ago there was a green flash over our house. Was not okay.
Oh my. What time was that, Sarah? Do you remember about what time? So, yeah, guys, if you got any weird stories, now's the time to pop them in. Go ahead, and if you got any questions, by all means, ask, because that's kind of what we do here. You guys kind of run the show, obviously, and we let you. That's we just keep providing more content, and I'll give you some ideas of what's going to be happening. Here you go. There's a good one.
Yeah, I've got some news to tell at the end of the show also.
Brandon, no one cares. Jeez. How was that, Adam? Was that good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just making sure I was on the right level. It wasn't too strong?
No.
Okay, good deal. Anita, ghosts are vexing. I've been trying to figure this out for going on 50 years, and I'm no closer now than when I began. I have my own terminology I use now. Yeah, I think we all do.
Tommy asks, is there a safe way to connect with spirits without having electronic equipment? We have a serious ghost problem, not malicious intent or evil, but she definitely doesn't mind showing herself.
That's interesting. Well, Tommy, typically, honestly, as far as connecting, no. But is there a way to, 11 o'clock? Okay, cool. Awesome. A ball with a tail. That could have possibly been a bolide. Very possible.
A ball with a tail.
I would check
the
I'd check the American Meteorite Society for around that time, and because if it was that bright, someone else would have seen it too. But we don't know. I'm just saying that's what I would tell you to check first, and give me the date and I'll check it for you. Where was I at? I was answering.
Safe ways to contact ghosts.
Oh yeah, safe ways to contact what we don't know are ghosts. See, that's the problem, Tommy. We don't know what they are. We just assume that they're ghosts because we don't know what a ghost is.
With all the stuff, Tommy, that you've got going on in your area, it really seems like you're in a temporal anomaly zone. Like it's like the deep end antique store all over again.
That's our terminology.
Yeah.
That's our terminology for places like Skinwalker Ranch, for example. I would call that a temporal anomaly zone because it's a place where time doesn't quite work. And sometimes we might be seeing these bleed overs in there. There may be, like you said, nothing malicious. And we don't even, is it intelligent? I should ask you that. Do you have any indication that it's actually an intelligent type haunting, or is it a residual type haunting? Because if we're looking at residual, then it could very well be like, an anomalous kind of temporal rift kind of thing. But as far as contacting, most people are just like, you know what? Either A, I don't mind you being here. Just don't do anything malicious. We can coexist peacefully. Or if there is an issue, just get out. I don't want you here. And 9 out of 10 times, that's going to work. So that's, if it is something like that.
Like taking a little bit of salt if it touches you, if it touches your throat, rub a little bit of salt there. It helps tell the entity no.
Salt is definitely a deterrent. And, that's one of the old ways, right? Where they would sprinkle the salt in the corners of the room.
I've also heard iron works.
Did Brandon say something?
Yeah, I think he cut out a little bit. What'd you say, Brandon?
Oh, I said I've heard iron works too.
Okay.
Yeah, like the horseshoes. Right, yeah. So Anita Allen, speaking of horses, recently was on the way to work and turned the corner and braked because 2 horses in the fog crossing the road. When they disappeared, ghost horses, just like ghost possums. I got the impression that a team had pulled a fire truck back in the day.
Huh.
Now Tommy's saying, I saw you mention the lady in white.
Yeah.
Back up in the comments. The Bigfoot sightings, there's a lot of weird commonalities with this lady in white and Bigfoot sightings. It's really freaking weird, and I don't have an explanation for it, but I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people tell me a story about seeing a lady in white who also experiences Bigfoot activity on their property.
Oh, that is weird.
There's actual cases of Bigfoot seducing women. I wonder if the women are like romantically linked somehow forever.
That's weird.
Maybe if there's typically it's red-haired women, by what I've heard from the First Nations tribes.
Yeah, that kind of goes with it.
Yeah.
So
now Sarah said that it was weird because that green orb was right above the house.
Okay, that's a little different, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's a lot different.
Now, depending on the perspective, like I don't know what it looks like driving up to your house, but driving up to your house, if you can see the sky above your roof, like the horizon, it could have been a bolide in that direction. But if you have tree line behind your house, then that rules bolide out.
Yeah, it does.
100%.
And especially if the thing stopped or slowed down. It's definitely not what it was. Tommy, I'll give you a real quick story, a true story. When we got this house, back when we bought the house, before I even bought the house, I ran through it and did a sweep, any paranormal phenomena, whatnot. And what I found was there was nothing here, right? So later on, we started having this weird activity downstairs in this one particular room. And I was just like, you know what? Fine. That's cool. You can have this area. You just don't come out any further than this. This is where you stay, and we stay out here, and we have an accord. And, to that day, we haven't had one single issue. Not one single issue. I've seen a couple little balls of light here and there, but that's become pretty much common. I don't even care about that anymore. But, yeah, I mean, they really do listen to you, pretty much all the time. If it doesn't, then you've got something else completely going on.
Yeah. So Donovan said, should we run away from the light? Depends on what light you're talking about.
What kind of light?
That could be a train at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
As far as it goes, and you know what? I am going to touch that because we really did touch this in Making Contact Part 2 when we were talking about the orbs and why we told people, our certain research friends that around the area in the collective, we're like, you look, guys, here's what happened. I think it was, when was it, Joe? It was at 2021, right? Or is it 2020 when we found the radiation?
That was 2020.
2020. And
Yep.
then we found it again the next year, right?
It was
By
September of
accident.
2020. Yeah, and yeah,
And then we found the next one the next
early
year.
that next year.
Right. So we started validating this and figuring out, wait a minute, there's weird ionizing radiation been picked up. I think it's a good idea that we tell people just to go out maybe and get a Geiger counter, a dosimeter, and just to beware. It's nothing serious. But why I said that was because we have heard stories in the past of a lot of people who have had these encounters with UFOs, Bigfoot, etc., dying like later of the same kind of stuff, like weird diseases that didn't make any sense.
They involve radiation sickness and radiation burns.
Typically they could, yeah. And I'm like, well, over the time we could be getting exposed out there to this and we don't even know it. So that's why we carry those. That's why we tell people to carry those. So when you say the light, what's very interesting was, hang on a second. It was right above the house, wasn't up in the sky. We have helicopters coming on at 1,500. This was lower. Yeah, that's
lower than, it's not a bolide. We can roll that
that's
out.
something significant there, Sarah. That's really something significant. And I'm going to ask you some questions here in a minute.
So back to chasing lights.
Yeah. So here's what we don't do. If we see an orb, if me and Joe are out there in the field, or any member of the collective that we're with see an orb, we are not going to go near it. We are going to check our Geiger counter. We're going to check our Geiger counter. We're going to check our spectrum analyzer, and we're going to see if there's anything in there that thing's given off, because
We will move to a vantage point to try to get better views.
but
Chasing it.
there is evidence, real, honest to goodness evidence that says you don't want to do that. And that was under, I think it was Harold Putoff. It was one of the DRD ended up quoting a lot of his work. And I'll put the link in here for you guys to go look at. But basically, it states that there could be something called a blue shift. And what that is we see the light as ultraviolet. But something's putting off an enormous amount of energy, ionizing radiation type energy, gets formed during that shift, apparently. We think that may be what some of these orbs, we're just seeing, a wave. We don't see what's making the wave, in other words, is what we're trying to get at. Some kind of energy is making that wave. All we're observing is the wave, and that's the orb, the light. But something's powering that. And we think that power source, whatever that is that might be dangerous. So that's why we will not go toward one of these things. Get to a different vantage point, get some video, yes, but we're not going to go approach that thing.
And this is exactly why, because we've also experienced this same phenomena. Anita says, hey, remember I showed you the trees that were in the line of sight of the UFO I saw here? One side of the trees are dead now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
We, in a location where I had seen a ball of light with other witnesses, and it darted off into the tree line and over the hillside. That section of trees looks like it was blighted. And they were all younger trees.
Well, if we could find it again.
Yeah, right.
That's a story for another day. But yeah, that was some weird stuff out there too. And you find a lot of weird stuff that does occur around these places, guys. And it's okay. Again, when you experience that, do what your gut tells you. That's my best advice to you, because you're your best instrument as far as it goes with that stuff.
Tommy asks, do you think CERN is the cause for all or some of this crazy stuff that's happening now?
It's been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah. Unless CERN
now
fired its engines like 12,500 years ago.
Or unless it fired its engines and poked a hole to 12,500 some years ago.
Could have done that.
See, and then we get into that little conundrum, don't we? Which one came first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah. But no, really, it's CERN has done some stuff, but it's not. That's not what's caused this.
It could have got attention.
Else. It could have definitely got attention. I mean, it could have definitely caused
the energy that was put off.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It got attention.
Oh, I agree. I agree very much so. And there are things that watch for that kind of energy. And that's kind of what I think as far as that goes.
The thing with the orbs that you're talking about, like where you don't go messing with them or anything, I mean, that even goes back to Ireland.
Will o' the Wisps.
Whenever people would talk about seeing lights and call them fairy
lights,
and say, don't go play with the fairies.
Yeah.
If you see the fairies, don't go towards them.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, Adam. Those fairies are not Tinkerbell.
No, they steal your teeth and organs and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
Sign me off that list. I don't I do not want to.
Human cattle abduction.
Right? That's what it seems like.
Yeah. It's not, and the whole stories, we look at that, the cultural tracking aspect of the phenomena, and we see that some of those stories, like, fairies and whisked away to fairyland, and, they put you into a sleep or trance, and then, you wake up somewhere else. I mean, what's that sound like to you? I mean,
sometimes they would even, they replace you with a double that looks just like you but doesn't act like you.
That's what happened to you. How was that? Was that good, Adam?
It's been fun. You get impressions, right?
Anita says there's a house about an hour away that has little orbs in the house. The lady of the house had 2 hip replacements, as one of them pitted from something the doctor couldn't explain. When one passed through a fiberglass window screen, the investigators had it checked out of the lab, and the melted spot where it passed through, very small, was radioactive strontium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the residual of the radiation, and that's kind of what we picked up when we did that one investigation and found the weird radioactive, bear track.
Theresa says, steal your teeth. That's like an evil
Theresa.
tooth. Yeah, essentially.
Yes. Theresa.
So like some of the stories go that they would steal your teeth. They would remove your kidneys or liver, and then just like dump you back out.
That sounds familiar.
Eyes being stolen, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mutilation, basically. So, yeah. So, like I said, these terminologies they've just changed. It's the same kind of stuff, though. That's the crazy thing about it.
What's really funny, like Theresa, when you bring that up, if you go back and you watch Guillermo del Toro's Troll Hunter series.
Oh my God.
was one of the best
I
animated
got
series
hooked on that. I was like,
ever.
what is this crazy thing? And I kept
Yeah,
watching
I got
like,
Ron hooked on it. I remember because I told him, I was like, man,
amazing.
me and Rowan are watching this, and it's amazing. Because this is when Rowan was like 1.5 years old.
Amazing.
And I told Ron about it, and Ron got into it, loved it. But those fairy and the trolls are like accurate depictions of behaviors, anyway, of what the trolls and fairies behaved like in the original lore and tales.
Yeah.
Anita says the Fae are not nice. They can be, but there's always a price. Most offerings to them are more like bribes or payoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go to the city park in Hurricane. They have erected little fairy houses all down the nature walk.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
I mean, I don't think they understand.
They're just asking for somebody to show up and have all their vital organs removed.
It's like, what are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? I mean, do you not realize what you are doing out here? I mean,
Maybe they should be looking for David the Gnome instead.
David the Gnome.
Oh
man, that brings back my childhood memories. I loved that. Good times.
Well, guys, have you enjoyed?
That last episode was wow.
Yeah, that last episode was emotional.
Yeah.
The spooky spooktacular thing. Have you had fun? Because we've had fun. We're having a lot of fun actually. So
you want me to round it off with one last story?
Oh man, I don't know.
Go for it.
Ask the folks. Do you guys want?
And
to
then
hear
Brandon has one that he was going to tell too at the end.
Yeah, Brandon's going to be done.
So we got time for both of you.
Yeah, you're fine. We're just lining them up. We're not leaving yet. We got a little bit more time. We're going to play a couple more, and we got an encore maybe at the end. So y'all just hold up there and hang out.
If you want to wait for the encore, I'll do that.
Oh God, yeah, I think we want to do that. And Brandon, you're up.
Yeah,
story time, Brandon.
You're in, kid.
Yay! Okay, so this is from one of my favorite books, The Telltale Lilac Bush.
Y'all be nice, okay? Y'all be nice.
You're the one that'll interrupt them and tell them no. That's
hang on a second. I got to get my music ready. No, go ahead. I'm kidding.
So if you haven't read The Telltale Lilac Bush, I highly suggest you just hit up your local library because I'm sure they have at least 3 copies of it. So this is from chapter 9. The 49th story called The Floating Coffin. What was that?
I don't know. Aliens.
That's a throwback. You're welcome, everybody. We love you, Brenton. Okay, Telltale 3 and go.
So not long after the end of the Civil War, Mrs. Hessbender, who lived near Bobtown, which is near Monongah, was going home and stopped for a drink at the Smiths. Mrs. Smith met her husband at the door, told her supper was about ready, and asked her to come in and have supper with them. She did, and then started on home. She had gone about half an hour when she came back to the Smiths. At first, she claimed to have forgotten her bonnet and that she couldn't do without it. And then she told them as she was going along about the middle of the stretch of road that lay ahead at the edge of the woods near the bank of Booth's Creek, where, as stories had it, a drawer from Pennsylvania had been murdered. She saw a coffin with a man sitting in it rise from the upper side of the road. It came up about as high as her head, went quartering across the road, and then disappeared over the creek bank. She said she was scared and had come back home to stay all night. Later, Isaac Coon, an old farmer living a short distance away, saw the same thing. The 2 women living near Bobtown saw the coffin and man. Several other report seeing the same thing, and it always came up from the same place in the upper side of the road, crossed the road, and went over the bank at the same place, and was always seen about the same time in the evening. Several years afterwards, some boys from Monongah and Rhea Chapel were at Boothville playing baseball. A new road had been made up along the creek, but the old road was still open. In the evening, Tom Rhea, Barney Whaling, and Will Barnes were coming from the ball game on horseback and took the old road because it was shorter to their houses. Tom was just a few steps in front of Barney and Will. Barney called to Tom and said, "Tom, right along here is some places where the dead man lives." "Yes," said Tom. "I wish I could see him. I would whistle for him to dance." That's exactly what you don't do is you don't taunt them. Just then the coffin and the man appeared from the side of the road. Tom's horse saw it, reared, whirled to run. Tom was a good rider, or he would have been thrown off. Barney and Will watched the coffin and the man rise from the road and disappear over the creek bank just like I had before. All of the people living around here have passed on that story, and I have not heard a word about the man in the coffin for more than 50 years.
So Theresa says, if you have the illustrations for the story, you have to look at them, because does it not look like the guy in the coffin is flipping off the ladies?
Well, you know, this is an interesting story, Brandon, because I've actually heard people talk about this before, and not in the context of that book, but actually talk about seeing floating coffins. This is actually an apparition that's been reported. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
another
no,
story
this will
from her
never
other book
do.
called Coffin Hollow, but that's a different type of coffin story.
Yeah. Yeah, but it does seem that that's an interesting. very
Milton has
interesting
jumped
thing.
back on with us, guys.
Milton Pope, welcome.
Good to have you with us again.
Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah, the swamps of eastern North Kakalaki.
Swamps down there. Carolina.
Yep.
Give me a little farther east and a little more south.
Set up on the coast.
I'm good there.
Hey man, all I know about the swamps over there in eastern North Carolina is right on the edge of the swamps and everything where the water's coming in. The fishing is great.
Yeah. We when we were out there off the coast, we were on it was Otter Island. We go out to Otter Island, and Otter Island's a really cool place. I don't know if you guys ever been out there, if anyone's ever been there, but it's the island off the coast of it's right off a few miles out from Edisto, off the coast of South Carolina, and there is an island there, and the Tuskegee Airmen used to train over that island. That's where they would set the targets up, and they would come in and they would shoot the targets there, and that's where they trained. They would fly in from I think from Alabama, and they would use that as a target range. But you can still go out there and find the big shells, which is really cool. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. But we were out there in the mud pot area, and there were some monster crabs. I mean, just amazingly huge crabs out there, and it was pretty cool. It was just like, the amount of wildlife that's out on those little islands is insane. But it was a really neat place. They said they thought that there was a Civil War fort out there. And these two guys were going out there to document it, but they couldn't find anything. They took a drone out and tried to go up and look for it and whatnot, but they didn't see it.
You'd almost have to use LiDAR to find anything.
What I told them.
That long back. You've got pirates that were still roaming. You've got they, depending on whose base it was, you had the old Sherman tide that rolled through there and just scorched earth everything. And
we've also had some monster storms.
It was, I was going to say, then the storms, so if the structures were already damaged, the storms would have just wiped them off the map buried them under sand.
Oh, I'm sure that whole island's been under sand before. There's no question. Yeah. Or underwater, before. There's no question. But I was like, yeah, you guys, you almost need a LiDAR on that thing if you're going to, hope to really see anything. Because on the boat ride back. But, so there's all kinds of history out there, too, in those little areas.
Buried ship is somewhere out there.
The wildlife, though, man, like you said, it's just crazy. There's snakes and, you got the gators and all kinds of fun stuff out there that'll
all the scaly critters that we like so much.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mosquitoes as big as your hand.
Well, you do have that too. You do have a lot of mosquitoes. Yeah. And flies. The flies were terrible.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. The pterodactyl sized mosquitoes and the black flies. Yeah.
Black flies.
Hot flies.
It was bad. We were out there one night. The wind had died completely, which is very rare on the coast. And the wind had died. And those flies were insane. I never seen anything like it.
Shane said they can't steal my teeth. I don't have any.
Oh, gosh.
All right, Adam, the encore.
Okay.
Let's do the encore.
Just a second.
Tommy, absolutely. Go drop a few of those stories over there on the page, and we'll get those approved.
Theresa said she was wrong. It wasn't in the book. It was in a reprint from the West Virginia Folklore Journal.
Ah, so it's a rare one.
Anita says, poor Shane, they already got his teeth.
They can come for your kidneys. Well, it's true.
I heard they like a nice Chianti.
You know,
alongside
it's true. It's what do you know, if they can't get one thing, they're probably going to go to the next. Do you think that they like sell them on the black market or something? There's like a fairy black market where they sell organs, probably to witches,
probably.
You know, stuff.
That's
like
my guess.
Like actual.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear God. Well, if this isn't worth $10, I don't know what it's going to be.
So, how y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
You want to hear some ghost stories?
Let's hear some ghost stories.
My own good time, okay?
We got all the time in the world, man. Adam turned leather daddy. Lemmy!
Okay. So, this is a couple stories about my dear old mother, who, God rest her soul, is sleeping upstairs right now. No,
wait. I was going to say, is she dead or she's upstairs?
Just
she's
resting.
Okay.
Just
okay.
resting.
All right. You carry on.
Marriage premonitions. We all have hunches or a hopeful guess every now and then. But there are times when another voice is heard inside our heads. I think we should pay attention because it may be a message from the other side. The other side of what is a moot point. A few times in my life, I've heard this voice and felt immediate certainty of its validity. The summer we were 15 years old. My girlfriend and I took a class in summer school. You may think it a dull place for young girls to be spending a lazy, sunny days of summer until you realize we took class. We felt we would appeal to boys, math, history, or some such. This is me having to read out about my mother lusting after boys.
just imagine how that feels, guys.
So, I do this over YouTube. I hope you appreciate it and pledge to these fine fellows that are in front of you today. There was method in our madness. Wendy discovered one of the boys' fathers owned the local movie theater and set her cat for him. This is my godmother. She would wink at him in class while giving a report, pretending she had something in her eye. She was lying, and we, well schooled, in the Donna Reed School of Flirting. I was observing the reeling in of this poor fish, never doubting she would land him, but wondering how long he would last. She only dated cars, and this sorry soul had a Volkswagen van, long before vans were fashionable. This van was used for work to pick up popcorn, candy, rolls of tickets, and etc. And you can think of anything else romantic if the van is a rockin'.
Don't come a knocking, baby. That van can fit more than popcorns and rolls of tickets.
Well, a come down from her last car, her boyfriend. My mother literally put in her boyfriend, Alistus, Though a mutual friend of both, a date was finally arranged, and she was telling me about it when I walked to school. Without thinking, I interrupted her and blurted out, "You're going to marry him." She replied, "You're out of your box," which says a lot for our repartee in those days. I knew from that moment on they would be married, although I would have never entertained the idea for a second without my voice. Happy to say I was maid of honor at the wedding 3 years later. More than 20 years later, my husband and I are still good friends with them and are godparents to each other's sons. Guess they didn't mind my sealing the fate too much. Speaking of my husband, much to my surprise, the voice came to me later when I began dating a friend of my girlfriend's study. About 2 weeks after we started seeing one another, we had a lunch date, and when he brought me back to my office, I stood at the window watching him cross the street. Once again, I heard my voice saying, "You're going to marry him." I was a bit surprised and a little amused. Neither one of us asked why I didn't warn him. "Ha!" I reply in my immortal words of P.T. Barnum, "Never give a sucker an even break."
Guys, give it up once again
Absolutely.
for executive producer Adam Good.
Unbelievable.
Marlon Brando from the Wild One era.
I can't even comprehend what we've seen here tonight. This may possibly be the best version of this ever. Yeah, I don't know. You guys, you tell us what you think, but I think that it's pretty good. It's pretty amazing, and
it says
we made history tonight, kids. Just to let you know, and that's not that's not taken lightly. I'm still kind of trying to rationalize. Yeah, still trying to kind of rationalize that, because that don't happen, all the time. and to see it is just is fantastic. And the fact that you guys, you appreciate it that much. Like I said, you keep appreciating stuff like that.
That's why we do it, guys.
We're gonna get you even better shows. So You know, that's the goal. The goal is to keep this thing going and to make
You
it
can only
entertaining.
go up from here.
That's
I tried
true.
to take you to rock bottom.
He really
That's-
did. Yeah.
You know, this what this does too, guys, like once we have the show and everything funded and all that, the rest of it we build and we keep for the show and doing stuff. And there are some interviews that they cost money. And you guys, that's why we call you guys executive producers. You know, you fund a lot of this stuff, and some of these guests that we will have in the future might, you know, well, not might, but will be covered under what you're doing.
Yeah, either that or it's going to go to the workshops. So
yeah,
you know, either way, it's coming back to you. And speaking of workshops, we will be definitely gathering up, and sitting around and trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen at the paranormal workshop that will be held
at the TNT area
for you guys who are interested, and it will sell out fast. I promise you, it'll sell out fast. So when that gets announced, make sure that you definitely want to be on the list for that. Let's just say that. So definitely keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a great time, and we're going to have a blast with it, obviously.
Theresa says, "Don't invite any Fae folk as guests. I'm not handing over my internal organs."
Yeah, we're trying not to do that. That's probably not going to happen. I'm going to roll
the ticker.
I'm going to roll a ticker down here again. Hang on 1 second.
Because we've got new names added to it now, by golly.
We do have new names added
Dadgummit.
That's right. And let's do a save.
Whatever I can do for you all, I have no shame.
You really don't.
So this show is brought to you by the Super Chatters, executive producers Adam Good, Theresa of Theresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitarchains Craig, Travis Aurednik, Geoffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, BigfootLittlefoot, Tommy Swiger. You guys blow my mind. Oh, there's one that was left off there.
Where we got who we've got?
Ghostwatch Lady.
Oh, yeah. I gotta put
Starts
it on
with
there.
T.
That's right.
Tina,
she came,
Tammy,
Terri. Terri. I just gotta put it back on here. Hang on.
Butchered your name 30 times. It's okay, but I didn't forget about you, and that's the important thing.
That's right. She came in after I closed the thing. When I said, anybody else? Yeah.
So guys, again, thank you all for another amazing episode. Weekly, you guys come out and actually give us one of the best times that we have all week. We get to laugh, we get to goof off and carry on. We cover some really good topics every week. So tell your friends, jump on. You're fantastic. Absolutely, every one of you. Fantastic.
Yeah, make sure, like we say, get out there and tell everybody. The idea is to not keep this a secret, but to get as many people in here as we can, because it's just it's a lot of fun, and it's a welcome break from the crazy stuff.
Yeah, the crazy of the week, man. We get a couple hours to come down here and just kind of hang out with you guys, talk with everybody, and bring people like Adam and the rest of you guys onto the show.
Yeah, if you want to come on the show and read something, like I said, you're more than welcome. We're going to be doing this till the end of October, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Pretty much, that's the idea, is just to have fun. This is the live shows, and that's what we're here for. It's all about fun. It's not about anything else. Of course, we get into some serious stuff every now and again. You saw it tonight. It's a mixed bag. We went from serious to hilarious to serious again. And that's what the live is about, because we never know what's going to happen on this show. And it just keeps you on your toes. It's a lot of fun. It's like, it's like working with animals. You never know what's going to happen.
I love bringing up every time we bring up the fairy stuff. It's great. It always turns into everybody in the comments, either whether it was with the in the past with the actual show and people commenting in and everything else. It's great. It's always fun. Sarah, thanks for joining us again tonight. Pat, as always.
Absolutely.
Ada Cox,
guys.
Anita Allen.
And yeah, next time, sure, I'll play the flute for you guys, but I want to make sure I can get it just right. So, yeah, I saw that earlier. I didn't ignore you. I saw it. I just, not tonight. I'd already annoyed these guys enough. No? Okay.
No. Well, guys,
no.
That I think wraps us up for this week. Adam, thank you for joining us. Thanks for reading Tales from Your Grandfather's Book. It's one of the better haunting books about West Virginia that's out there, because they're all stories that are collected from this region and from Appalachia. It's awesome. It's a huge contribution to the local folklore.
Oh, yeah.
And a privilege to have you on the air reading those stories.
It sure was, man. It's absolutely awesome.
Thank you all for having me. And I would like to end with acknowledgement towards the traditional owners of the land in which we have met today. Also would like to pay my respect to the elders past and present. So thank you all very much for everything tonight. I had a blast.
Been great, man.
Been
cosmic.
A great show.
Absolutely cosmic.
Everybody who joined in and super chatted, we appreciate every one of you guys to the moon and back. Like we can never express that enough. Everybody who hung out with us in the chat, we appreciate that too, because what that does is it helps us boost out through the algorithm. It helps people see, hey, there's people watching the show. Let's get this out there. Share it with your friends. Share it with other weirdos and weirdettes who are out and about. Tell your coworkers. It's all going to be a good time. The bigger this thing gets, the better it's going to keep getting.
Remember, if you did your thing, send us your info so we can get you one of these.
Wild and Weird WV@gmail.com.
Yeah, get it up there. There you go. Maybe
gotta catch them all.
Yeah, that's it. You got to catch them all, because there's going to be different ones. So you just never know. But yeah, Wild and Weird WV@gmail.com. Make sure that you get that over to us, and we'll get you one of our little thank you glyphs out. And next week, who knows what's going to happen? There could be, maybe, possibly. I have been told that it could be a possibility that Mothman may join us, but I don't know yet. I don't know yet. That's going to.
You guys summon the Sky Daddy.
I'll confirm that later.
Make the Mothy happen.
If you guys want to see Mothy show back up, then by all means, you let us know, and we'll see if we can make that happen for you. But it could happen. It could happen. That's what I'm hearing.
I think Marlon Brando wants to meet Mothy.
Oh, you think? maybe Marlon and Mothy might have a convo or something.
Oh, I think so. The Cass Kenneth from Godfather. I think he could take Mothy out.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't challenge him. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I think it might be cool.
He got my boy.
Well, everybody, if you guys are in the Ohio Valley area this weekend, go check out Ron at Mysticon. He'll be representing the Wild and Weird booth.
Oh, boy.
And he's going to be presenting data there this weekend as well from an investigation that was performed at the Ravenswood Public Library. You won't want to miss that. It's going to be the first time that this information has been dropped.
Data, like as in hardcore data, not Brent Spiner from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Not that.
And then next weekend, you'll be able to catch us at the Thunder in the Mountains powwow. That's going to be a great time. On the 14th, Saturday the 14th, if you guys want to come and hang out with the 2022 Bigfoot researchers of the year, we will be presenting all of our Bigfoot data at the powwow all day long. Looks like both Saturday and Sunday. So definitely make it out. It's in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Thunder in the Mountains powwow. Going to be a great time.
Yeah, we're not sure of the time on Sunday yet, but Saturday we'll be there all day. So you guys get out there, and it's really cool. I don't know if any of you guys been to a powwow, but it's it's a special experience, and you'll learn some stuff. I promise you'll learn some stuff, and you'll have a good time too. So definitely get out there. And then we'll where are we at after that? Crypticon, right?
Con.
Yeah, then we show up at Crypticon. Is
Yep,
that
we're
our last
speaking
show?
of CrypticCon in Lexington, Kentucky.
Is that our last show of the year?
That's the last show of the year.
Oh my God, there's
Big
a
one.
light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
This is the light that
love
we're gonna chase.
I love going out there and doing the
It's
shows.
the sun off to the year, man.
It's the prepping for the shows that drives me crazy. I love getting out on the road and meeting the people. That's fun, getting out
Yeah.
there and seeing all you guys and hearing your stories. But man, making all this stuff, it gets to you from time to time. Y'all go and watch the premiere tomorrow night of the other version of this Spooktacular, because remember there's like 8 of them this time. So the regular episode 166, I think it is, or 167, episode 167, will drop tomorrow at 8:00 p.m. Same YouTube channel, same YouTube place, etc., etc. So you be there and watch that. I'll be over there in the chat. You can ask questions, but you'll get to hear a lot of really cool stuff on that. Like I said, it is the longest. I think it's the longest news segment we ever did. We get a little involved in Fallen Worlds, I think, and set up Fallen Worlds Part 4,
Which is right around the corner.
Yeah, and I think that you get a little sneak preview of what Fallen Worlds Part 4 is going to be,
Yeah.
and the rescue mission, and it's going to be really, really good. So, for everybody who's interested, be here tomorrow, 8:00 p.m. Eastern, and I'll see you over here in the chat, and maybe some of these other guys will see you over there too.
And remember, if you're ever out and you see a light floating around in the woods, don't chase it, because it might be a fairy. And if it's a fairy, it might take your teeth and some of your vital organs. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
It's good enough advice, I guess. That's all I know.